Yeah, we
New
needed that one.
episode.
Yeah, woo! Episode 5, guys.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe it?
It's going fast.
Yeah, it was
Good.
like yesterday that I told you guys I wanted to do something with my show, with my channel, and it seems like yesterday.
Yeah, and I feel we didn't even scratch the surface of all the things we want to talk about and have opinions of.
Yeah, let me see. Ryu is here. Hello, Ryu.
Hey,
How are
Ryu.
you?
How you doing, man?
Okay. All right, guys. How was your day, Roland?
Quite busy. The stores are open, so of course we used to do that. We used that to go to the IKEA, buy some stuff we desperately need, and yeah. Furthermore, I had a pretty
There's
busy
stuff
week.
you need at
Yeah,
IKEA?
my chairs are really crumbling down while I sit on them, so they were in high need of replacement. And
Okay.
a chair I won't buy online because I really want to sit it first if
Right.
it can hold my big butt. So yeah, it needs to
and
be
they
comfortable,
the
you
hot
know.
dog, right?
Hello, Hicks Villain.
Hey, man.
Welcome
Hi,
to the
Hicks.
show, man. He's new. I never seen him before. Welcome.
No.
Okay,
Oh, that's
cool.
great.
Welcome
Hey,
to our
welcome.
show, Hicks.
Yeah.
And how was your day, Marinus?
I was I was up at 6. Well, that's not entirely true. I was up at 5 because I have to work at 6 in the morning, but at only 4 hours. For the rest, I have done not really much, cleaning up the house, and I also went to the IKEA. Well, last week because I ordered a kitchen, so I was busy on doing
Oh,
rearranging.
you got your kitchen there, really?
Yeah, well, I'm on a budget, man. So
Okay,
Hey,
yeah, well,
I mean,
they have good kitchens. Really,
Yeah.
they do have good kitchens. My parents have IKEA kitchen, and they
loving it.
did it all. They're by themselves. So
Oh, really? Oh, well, now I got 2 left hands, so if I'm going to do that, it's going to be upside down probably. So I'm not going to
are,
touch it.
are we being paid for this by IKEA? Do I get the money now?
Yeah, where's my sponsor?
yeah, seems like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this
Cool.
is
But
Dutch
overall,
angle.
yes, I have a relaxed day. Just watch some, maybe on the topic, I watched some Jupiter's Legacy. I just completed the whole season, and I must say, I liked it a lot. I like the story. I have some complaints, but overall, I really like the story. I just watched it in 2 days. I believe there are
Cool.
6 or 8 episodes. I'm not entirely sure anymore, but yeah. I also like.
So were you familiar with the comic?
Yeah. I read the comic with the art by Frank Quietly. Is that how you pronounce it? Quietly,
Yeah.
something
You have
like
to
that.
pronounce it quietly.
Quietly.
Yeah.
But that's a nice bridge to the topic, indeed. And we wouldn't be Dutch if we don't have anything to complain about,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yeah. So, Dave, what is the topic of today's show?
The topic. Hey, Aiden.
Hi,
The
Edith.
topic today. Well,
Hi.
last week we discussed that it perhaps would be interesting to talk about comic book movies, so movies based on comic properties. And I thought today, how about we specify that a little bit, because it's rather a broad theme. You have series, you have a lot of movies, and a few genres. So I was thinking, how about we talk about translations from comic to movies and things that got changed in the adaptation,
Mhm.
and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and how do we feel about things that are changed from a source material that we love. So that would be interesting.
We'll definitely have opinions about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. So, for instance, the Jupiter Legacy, I never heard of it before the show. so I never heard of the comic either. But you,
It's a good one.
Marinus, you've read the book
Yes.
and you've seen the series. Are there a lot of a lot of changes?
Well, yes and no. When it comes to the story of the comic, it's somewhat different than the TV show. The TV show is going more like the first season is about the origin, about the characters, and there is some things in the comic that is also translated into story-wise into the season because I already know who the good guys, the bad guys, and what eventually will happen. Although in the comic it's a little bit quicker. And here they stretch it out because, well, I believe they want to flesh out the characters more because they want to have a season 2, maybe season 3. So I get that why they did that. When it comes to costumes, they are pretty close, I must say. Let me put up an example, if you will. I'm going to share.
All right.
Yeah.
And let me say hi to John quickly. John Hansen,
Hey, John.
welcome, man.
How you doing, man? So
the first time I saw this Jupiter character, the first thought that I had was Supreme.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know what came first.
I believe
Superman came first, of course, but
yeah. Where are the costumes? So I need to have more of a bigger picture.
I have one ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Roland.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm gonna quit.
This is of the series. Let me search the images. You can talk. Then
okay, good.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I must say the costumes are pretty legit. If that's what you there's of course some changes because otherwise it wouldn't work. But overall, I think they are pretty close to the source material. Although they have more, how do you say, symbols interwoven into the costume because of that. Because of the origin and a little bit of a spoiler. The main character is getting visions and with circles, etc., and that is very important to the story arc. But at the same time,
Bristolian Dave says no spoilers, please.
Well, that's a little bit of a spoiler. It's not a big
one. It's good. A great shout out, Dave, because if Marinus gets going, there's no stopping him. So it's good. Spoiler alert, and we'll try to avoid spoilers.
Yeah, that's true,
please, Dave, stay on the show. We won't reveal spoilers.
Yeah. So what was I talking about? I don't know. But
costumes changes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some things interwoven into the costume that I think, hey, it fits, but it's not, intrusive or something. It's more blended in the background. So if you look closely, you see then all these little small symbols interwoven in it. So I think, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Costume looked pretty intricate. The entire emblem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's not the best superhero costumes, I must say, but for this show, it works.
Higgs Villain noticed that it's a weekly release format. Is that true?
Well, I watched it all in one go. So,
I'm not sure.
No, you can choose. You can choose if you binge it or
already out and on Netflix. Yeah.
I have.
Thanks, Dave.
I have a question, Marinez, about the show Jupiter's Legacy. Are the characters race swapped?
Yes. Yes.
All right. How do you
now
feel?
I have to bite my tongue. But to be honest, I didn't mind in this case because okay, I want to say something, but I'm not going to do that. What I like about the story is it's very dark. It has very intense scenes like depression, suicides, drug abuse, self-loathing, social media when it comes to kids, image, etc. So yeah, there is and also some graphic violence. Not all of the time, but there is one graphic or two that I think, whoa! I said they really went overboard with that in a good way, in my opinion. But yeah, I think they portray a certain character, except if you look at issue 3, the character from behind there with the black hair, that person is race swapped, and he has a mohawk.
Okay.
So
Is-
So, but in
Is
this
that
case,
any
you don't mind?
important?
And before I forget, the guy in the yellow is also race swapped. He's a black guy now.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry, what was your question?
Well, it doesn't matter.
No. It's not intrusive or something. It's not that I think, oh, this is a woke show. No, they don't hit you over the head with woke stuff at all. I mean, not that I know of, or think that's
So-
very,
Why is this important to raise? Why do we talk about it here?
No, there was. You missed a comment. Probably.
I'm sorry. Yes, I was looking for the images as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
no, okay.
So anyway, so do you think, Marinus, that the show is a good adaptation from the comic book?
Well, there's a lot of differences. Let me say that, because if you read the comic, it's very fast paced. There is stuff happening in the first issues, or trade paperbacks if you want. That is, let me leave it at this. If you have the first 2 issues, I believe, or what you can see here, or trade paperbacks, I believe that's season 1. Then what you are seeing here at issue number 3, or probably trade paperback, I'm not sure. That's coming probably in season 2. I think they did a very good job explaining the whole legacy thing and where it comes from, and they skipped that a little bit in the comic. So basically, I like the action-packed comic, but I like the fleshed out parts in the TV series, and that surprised me, by the way, because mostly they just bastardize everything or just skip through stuff. And to be honest, it's been a while that I read Jupiter's Legacy, so I could be wrong with some key elements, but overall there is a difference, but also it's a lot like the comic, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is more like a journey to how they become heroes, but at the same time it's also grounded in today, because they are switching back to the 1920s, and they're also switching back to the present with their kids. It's basically, if you have seen Superman and Lois, they have been on a barn, in Smallville, on a farm, and here it's basically the same, although it's not, all lovey and dovey. It's not, roses and I'm not sure, you know what I mean. Yeah.
So, but basically, this is more a more realistic take on the superhero genre, a little bit darker.
Yeah, realistic, quote unquote. But I think it's way darker. Yes, it's probably darker than The Boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's way darker because of the realistic themes in it.
But The Boys is really violent. It's not really dark. There's a difference between that. Yeah. Is it true in the spirit of the comics? I think that's the most important. If the comics is dark, then I think, I expect the television series also to be dark.
Yeah.
Is that
Legacy is, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Are they is this TV series in the same vein as the comic?
No, it's different. I in my opinion, the TV series is way darker because the dark themes are highlighted more. You see the effects of drug abuse a lot. You see people overdosing, etc., and that's not what you're really seeing in the comic. There are, like, say, hints there. You see stuff, but the impact when the actress is an actress on doing that on screen is way more impactful, because you see the transformation from being a depressive girl to a girl that's getting high and that goes wrong, stuff like that.
Yeah, that can have a high impact.
Yeah, it's more visual storytelling, but then on screen.
Yeah, like Bristolian Dave mentions, everything has to be extra dark and edgy nowadays.
Mhm.
And
I don't really
I've
agree.
seen The Boys, and I've watched Brightburn. I think,
Right.
and and there is this trend these last few years that superheroes have to have this dark angle, and I'm kind of getting weary of it. I watched Shazam a little while ago, and it's very bright,
Yeah, I
and
loved it. I love Shazam. It's really good
and
movie.
that I really enjoyed because I think I needed that something fun like the Zack Snyder superheroes. It's I don't know,
Too.
man. I'm, I've seen
Well,
that. I rather
you
watch Shazam nowadays,
you make your choice. I don't think
of course.
they are getting more dark or edgy. It's also the original, the boys in the original comic were already quite violent and edgy
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
sure,
realistic.
Yeah.
sure.
So I don't
I get
think
that.
they necessarily make already IPs darker. I mean, if you don't want to watch the dark things, I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is quite happy and bright and comedical, and then you have the
Yeah.
Arrowverse that is very light, not really that dark. Of course, they
No.
have some dark episodes, but usually it's pretty bright. I don't think there's a trend that things get darker. I think there are some properties that are dark. Like in the 80s or the 90s, there you really saw a trend that everything needed to be darker. Every superhero needed to have a darker variant. I
Exactly.
don't think that's going on right now nowadays. I think you just have dark heroes and dark series and brighter heroes and brighter series. You just
Yeah.
want to look for them.
Yeah. I have to agree with Ronald because there's a I don't know when if you watch series like Smallville, right? You know, from the when was the Smallville, by the way? So was it 90s? I forget.
90s, 2000s. I
Yeah, 90s.
love that series.
Yes, Jesus, I'm old. Um, and there was no counterpart for all the brightness and the goody two shoes, which is okay. I mean, Smallville was a fun, although I didn't like the actor, but that's another story. But on the other hand, the trend for darker is not really a trend in my opinion because I think there's a place for also the darker stories because just like the boys, Jupiter's Legacy is a very dark, violent story, um, and personally I like that. What I would have liked more that when it comes to the Snyderverse or the Justice League, I wish we have another Superman movie with Henry Cavill that is more brighter, more fun, more just like Shazam. Shazam is catered is between fun and bright with a little bit kid stuff in it, and I think Superman should be for everyone.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. But I think like every comic run has their own creators. You see it in movies as well. And
yeah,
DC had to happen to have Zack Snyder, and they came from a very successful Batman trilogy from Christopher Nolan, which was
yeah,
quite realistic and dark. And they thought, oh, this is successful. Let's like do a DC Universe variant of it, and let's reboot Superman. Even though they had the Brandon, the Brandon, I don't know the actor,
Yeah,
Brandon Routh.
yeah,
Brandon Routh.
movie
Yeah,
not too many years before that. However, Zack Snyder is a movie maker that makes pretty dark movies.
Right, true.
So it's just it's just a choice, and you have it in comics as well. Sometimes you have creators that have a darker turn on the comics, and yeah, I don't know, but I think the DC universe, like they are such different characters. Like the Wonder Woman, a movie can be. I thought it was more adventurous than dark.
Are you talking about the second one or the first one?
I didn't see the second one yet.
Oh,
Especially the first one I liked, especially the first half. I think the second half was I don't know was crap. I think the
yeah.
first half
Brandon Routh looked pretty good as Superman. As
and,
Dave.
and yeah, and that at that point when Smallville was on,
mhm.
they wanted to connect Smallville more with the Donner movies, And the Brandon Routh movie was also connected with the kind of a continuation of the Donner movies. So you have this, and I think, the CW, it's colorful, and I liked the Smallville series a lot. It went down the last seasons, and it was kind of taking too long. They were, I think, 3 seasons overdone, but I think you have choice.
Speaking of Brandon Routh, I also watch the TV series. Well, it's more cheese, but why am I forgetting the series? It's a CW show. I hate mostly all of the CW shows except for it's a team. Am I forgetting? Well, let's say Brandon Routh was in there and he played Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah, but that's from the Arrowverse, right?
Yeah, only I forget the TV series, the name.
It's
I
DC
still
Legends
follow it.
of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah. But it's all part of the
Thanks,
first.
Dave.
First, he was he played Atom Man. Is that correct? In
Yeah,
that
the Atom.
series,
Yeah.
the Atom.
Yeah. So if I may share it, for those who have not seen it, Brandon Routh was in some kind of a crossover, and they went back through some kind of universe, and where Brandon Routh was actually still Superman, but then the Superman from Kingdom Come, way bigger, way older, has some gray hair, and his costume is one of the best superhero costume I have ever seen on screen. And well, I'm more of a geek fanboy, so I'm going to share it.
I believe that storyline was about a crisis on Infinite Earth kind of thing. And I think the Brandon Routh playing Superman Kingdom Come Superman is kind of continuation of the movie he did with the movie we just talked about, the Superman Returns movie.
Yeah. So I hope I can get a bigger picture. So can you guys see this?
Yes.
I mean, he looks really, really good. And I love the symbol. It's probably more, well, that's not a bigger picture. Here is a better one.
Shall I do the pictures?
Yeah, that probably is the best.
Then you can talk about it. You don't have to switch attention.
That is good. I'm going to shut down my share screening.
Well, Dave says that Batwoman can suck dick. I think she can, yeah.
Which one? The black one? The Ruby Rose one? The blonde one? Oh, Dave. Yeah, but Brandon Routh reprising his role as Superman. I really enjoyed that. I really liked the dark blue and the dark red, and then also the cape was perfect, because the Superman in the CW show, not the new one, but in the older, with Supergirl, I really disliked that costume because it was, I don't know, the cape was on the wrong place, I think, and the shield was a little bit smudgy with some kind of weird yellow. I don't like that at all. And I must say, this new Superman and Lois, way better. It's more brighter, the series. It has more heart. And I really enjoyed it. I was afraid that they make it woke. There were some things bit there that they did some switcheroos with characters again. But hey, that's what it is. But overall, Superman and Lois, the new one, very good show. Really enjoy it.
I haven't seen that one. It's also part of the Arrowverse, isn't it?
No, it's separate.
But it's the same Superman actor.
Yeah.
It's in the same universe, isn't it?
I believe it isn't connected. Well, maybe that is, but I'm not entirely sure. It's not that they are, overlapping. That's a good question. I don't know, actually. Isn't that they are from a different universe altogether?
Yeah, the Arrowverse has some crossovers from different universes, because Supergirl was living in her own universe, separate from the Barry and Green Arrow one, the Flash and the Green Arrow one. But I think there were these crises, and I stopped following it. Actually, I followed the first few seasons of Supergirl, which in the beginning I liked as interpretation. I watched the first 2 seasons of Flash. I watched a couple of episodes of the Green Arrow, but I really didn't like the flashbacks in that series.
Exactly.
And when around the time when the team up group formed, I was kind of out of the series.
Yeah. I just follow Flash, but it's so boring. I just don't want to watch it anymore. They lost me at, I don't know which season this is, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, but I don't know. Just they lost steam. Well, coming back to the costume, I mean, I really like the what spandex like costume instead of with the whole padding and armor and shit that they are doing with the Justice League. This is more back to basics. Although, well, this is not really Brandon Routh with the 6-pack. There's some shenanigans under the hood, but I really like that the cape is being folded into the costume instead of sticked on. This is classic Superman. I'll also love the very cool shield. It's the perfect size. It's not exaggerated at all. And the yellow shiny buckle with the black belt, perfect. This is one of the best costumes I've seen on television.
It's very true to the comic.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have these movie versions of comic book superheroes or supervillains, and they put on these ridiculous thick costumes with all kinds of stuff.
Crazy shit.
Like the villain from Spider-Man, the Green Goblin. He was completely different in the movie, but somehow people accepted that. I thought it was pretty weird. I kind of never liked it.
They made comparisons with the Power Rangers. He said he was the Green Power Ranger.
Yeah. So Mariners, as always, has had a thing for men in spandex.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. Damn, I'm not sure. I don't want to come on your channel anymore now that you say that. I'm feeling offended.
Now, what is this thing that we have with costumes? Why is it so important?
That it has to be right, you mean?
Yes.
I believe
this is pretty superficial, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with you, because I like the Superman as a superhero, and superhero, it has some certain characteristics.
Well, I think it's the same, and I hate to go back to this topic, but when it comes to race, right? So if you have a superhero that you have, let's say Captain America or Superman, and you've grown up with your whole life, and then suddenly, when I see Christopher Reeve, his in the Superman 1, 2, and 3, I was blown away. Not because it was a fun, cool movie, but Christopher Reeve was, in my opinion, the Superman. Don't worry, Dave. I'm coming back to you soon if you apologize. Now, but I don't know. And then the costume was so perfect, and that is for me the costume that needs to be represented on screen as well. When Henry Cavill made his first appearance like the new Superman, I like him as a Superman. I disliked the costume because it was too dark. It was some weird shenanigans all over the place with the honey comb pattern. I don't like that at all. But yeah, it's Superman. So yeah, I don't know. It's just it needs to fit the part.
Yeah, right? I don't get how you can state that if you love superheroes that represent things, and the people design, so they design a specific costume and a character, they put thought into that, and then someone states, well, it doesn't matter what the costume looks like, it can be anything, and that doesn't make sense. You need to design a character, and he has to be be recognizable. So when you translate it from a comic to the screen, you can change things to make it a little bit more realistic or more fitting for a movie. But you have to stay true to the original design.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
the original design is drawn with simple lines and simple colors. They didn't have the technology at that time to make small details, And now you're watching this 4K resolution movies. And if you watch, they did it. Marvel makes sometimes a joke of it, putting characters in a comic original costume, and they look so bad if you directly translated it, because spandex doesn't look good actually, and they always form fit the actors better when the suits are made of different fabric. And even if we wear clothes like t-shirts, there are always little details like fabric you see. And I think that's, if you want to make a superhero story, you need to have at least a kind of grounded level to start off with. And if the comic represents that, I mean, the Captain America from the movies, the Chris Evans Captain America, I thought it was a believable costume for in the 40s, set in the 40s, and not to have this chainmail on him, because it's also not that practical. So and still, if you look at Captain America in that movie, he's unrecognizable Captain America, or recognizable Captain America. You can't.
But that's the point, right? You have to translate it in a way that it looks good in a movie, but that it respects the original design.
I agree.
And if you, for instance, take the Green Goblin, it's a completely different story.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And I, at that time, I already had a simple solution. Just give him the purple ripped cloth, and you were already halfway there.
Yeah.
A suit of armor is kind of interesting for the Green Goblin. He doesn't need to have the fish things on his arms, but just give him this ripped green cloth already. It's super nice to have armor with cloth above it, on top of it, and make something, from his headgear that's also functional, and give it a purple color. You're already halfway there. I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, but when it comes to costume design, what do you think of, Batman from Tim Burton? Right? Those were rubber suits, but they look very cool. They're totally impractical, but they made it so good, that movie, that you didn't see that it was impractical. Acting.
No, but that's movie magic, of course.
Yeah.
You can use fabric that's not practical in real life, but it looks good for the movie. But those movies, the Marvel movies, they are being made now, and also the DC movies, they use fabrics, and actors will sweat, and it's not practical, but it looks good on film.
Yeah, exactly. Because the Christopher Nolan Batman, great movies, by the way, but I didn't like the costume. It's way too clunky. It's way too armory, if you will. So I wish they reversed it a little bit to more traditional. But
it fits the story. It fits the universe.
Yeah.
He has all these military grade material, and he will turn into Batman, and he uses that military grade stuff to make it his own, and it fits the story. So
I
kind of excuse that one.
Don't do the, how do you say, the nipple Batman costumes, because that's terrible.
Although I liked the Batwoman there in that movie.
The Batgirl.
The Batgirl.
What's her name again?
Silverstone.
Alicia Silverstone. She's hot.
So why did the Batgirl costume have nipples? That's not fair, man. That's not equality.
She had nipples, but they're not.
She had.
Yeah, let me.
I totally forgot.
Pixar didn't happen.
Brazilian Dave says that's also one place Marvel fucked up, but kind of backwards. The heroes in the movies didn't reflect what was in the comics, Tony Stark in the movie compared to Riri Williams in the comics.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I completely get that. Let me see. And Ryu says one of the worst costumes in superhero movies, Scarlet Witch, uninspired. Yeah. Scarlet Witch. That was a complete change from the comic.
Yeah, that was so simple. I didn't like that at all.
She was in civvies, right? You mean in the movies, not in the recent series?
Yeah, in the movie she has just a jacket on that's been painted red. It's very simple.
Yeah, in the recent series, she has a pretty accurate costume, but it's made of magic. It fits her character. But I that's what I like about the movies. They start, grounded, and you see it in all the Marvel movies. They started grounded, but the more the movies progress, the more outrageous the costumes will get. And there's also the same with the Scarlet Witch. She started in her civvies. Then she had a kind of costume that looked like civvies, but it was like a little bit costume-like. And now after the series, maybe it's a spoiler alert, she has a more comic accurate costume, but it looked very good on her. And it's kind of made of the magic power she has.
Yeah. Too bad I didn't. Okay. No,
it also explains her tiara, or how do you call it? That weird headband she has on her head. Because it's weird when you have a costume. It's a thing. Why would you wear it? But in the series, they kind of explained it, and then you accept it.
Yeah. I didn't like WandaVision much, but that's my personal gripe. But overall, the costume, yeah, sure. You want to say something, Dave?
No, Hicks Villain points out that when Marvel makes a reference to the comic true costumes, it's usually as a joke to mock it a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a little bit, partly. Also, just to prove it's not always. It's not always.
I approve.
You can't always get away with it. It's the superheroes' costumes were designed in the 60s.
Yeah.
She has a little bit of nipple there.
Yeah, you were right, man.
I like that. Well, but that's gone now.
Quick before YouTube strikes us.
Yeah, because don't you know that people are against poop armor nowadays? They have to be hidden. That's what Hollywood wants. Or
but sometimes they do. Look, I think everyone gets that you can't exactly copy a costume from a comic book. That's
impossible.
Looks weird. But for instance, sometimes they really try, and it works for me. Like the Fantastic Four movies with Jessica Alba.
Yeah,
I personally thought those costumes were pretty cool and pretty accurate. And then they brought in Galactus, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" But
Space Lab.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
So all right. So Brazilian Dave selects the costume. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. The male gaze, Dave. The male gaze.
Oh yeah.
And actually, women like to have poop armors.
Yeah, I mean the whole debate that it's sexist. I mean, if you have big boobs as a woman, you have some kind of armor pressed against it. I mean, that must hurt like crazy, right?
That's true, but also women also like to flaunt their bodies and be feminine, and they also want to have these shapes. It's not practical, but still.
Yeah. Indeed.
So
they did it in the Roman Empire too, right?
Yeah. Well,
right.
The best armor is still a point here for women and for male. So when you slash with a sword, it goes sideways. Mm-hmm. But anyway, those times are gone. Now we are living in modern times. We don't have a lot of swords anymore. So you need to have armor that can hold bullets or laser beams. So it's a mirrory armor. When Superman
Mirror
beams
Man.
his
Yeah.
when Superman beams
Mirror Woman.
his death ray on your armor, it shatters everywhere.
Yeah. Bristolian Dave says the thing is, all you have to do is look at manga or anime and the popularity, especially amongst girls, and you'll see that it's only the SJW weirdos that care about this shit.
Yes. True.
You know, if you see the world through a certain lens, then everything is that color. So if you see things through a sexist filter, then
Everything is sexist.
Yeah,
Sexist.
exactly. And you cannot imagine that other people see things differently. So
I mean, come
anyway.
on, superhero guys are walking in tight jeans and underwear, and that's not sexy.
No,
I mean, there was a
Come
part.
on. This is hypocritical.
Wasn't there a part in the Captain America movie, The Winter Soldier, or was it Avengers, that Steve Rogers was, breaking blocks with his bare hands, and he has a very tight shirt on, with all the abs popping out.
I love it.
Nobody would complain about that, right?
No, every Marvel movie until up now has a scene where the superhero gets topless. Every Marvel movie.
I like
And
that.
nobody
Really?
complains about it. Yeah, really.
Yeah, so weird.
Even Paul Rudd, which I don't know about that one.
Well,
And of course,
a little bit, but-
sorry, I mean every male Marvel
Ah,
hero.
exactly.
Because Captain Marvel didn't do that.
Oh, Jesus. No. Horrible movie.
The costumes don't have to be all accurate, says Ryu. It's about creating a good, appealing costume. Very important also for the toy line. Okay.
That's a actually,
Merchandise.
yeah.
Merchandise. That's where the money gets made.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, if you have a good costume, then it sells toys. I mean, look at Cara Dune from Star Wars, right? Very popular, not because of the costume, but more of the personality and the person itself. But that's probably another debate. Speaking of costumes, there was remember the first X-Men, with Wolverine and Cyclops,
with the black costumes.
with all the black, because they say that spandex, especially yellow spandex, doesn't work on screen. And then they made X-Men. What was that with the yellow spandex? I forgot. First Class probably is the movie.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah,
First Class.
First Class. I love that movie.
I don't know.
It's
I love that movie. It was really good.
It's one of the better X-Men
I
movies.
saw a fan-made video a long time ago featuring Wolverine in the yellow costume with the mask with the points, and it looked awesome.
Really?
And these people prove that it's possible. Not everything has to be perfectly realistic. Just make it look cool and as close to the comic adaptation as you can.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. Within the superhero movie boom, starting from the X-Men and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man took it farther. There was this hesitant within the studios to kind of stay away from the costumes. And I like I said, maybe they wanted to field test with the audience, and then when the movie progressed, they make it more outlandish. I don't know why this was this hesitance, and you see it in the Marvel series as well. I love the Netflix Marvel series. They are very grounded, and we had to wait a full season until Daredevil had his costume, and it was a good costume. But later on, you have the Cloak and Dagger series and the Runaway series.
Never saw
that. And Cloak and Dagger didn't have their costumes, which in that world, in that story, it was fine. But I really wanted to see at least some costumes. They were dressed with the same color motifs as their costumes were, but they were not costumes. They were just the civvies. Yeah. I don't know where this hesitance is, and it's really you see it really in the Fox movies first. The same with the secret identities. I think Spider-Man is the only Marvel hero in the movies that has a secret identity.
Well, not anymore
Not
because
anymore.
because in every movie he showed his face on, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man," and everybody woo.
Well, those were the older Sony movies.
Yeah. Well, no, they're doing it now too with the latest one. That they are in Paris. No, not in Paris, in Venice. So in every movie, he just reveals his true identity to whoever. Makes no sense. But
No,
hey,
in Venice he wore a mask.
no, he revealed it to
Mary Jane. Oh no, Michelle.
it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
MJ.
weird too, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Roland, you are a Spider-Man fan. What did you think of the Marvel adaptations of Spider-Man?
That's a tough question for me, because I really liked the Sam Raimi, the second movie, the best. The Dr. Octopus movie, I think everybody agrees that's the best. Great action scenes, great acting. But I loved his Peter Parker. However, he was a bit of crybaby, and it got old pretty quickly. But I didn't like his Spider-Man because he didn't crack the jokes. And then with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I thought, oh, that's a nice Peter Parker, or a nice Spider-Man, because he's more like making these weird jokes. But he was too hip to be Peter Parker. He was too interesting to be Peter Parker. Yeah. Peter Parker needs to be boring. His character, his cast, his surrounding cast needs to be interesting. That's why you follow the stories. His Spider-Man needs to be interesting, but not Peter Parker. And with the Tom Holland version, I like that they show now he's quite smart, and he's quite uneven with the girls, with the other sex. He's a pretty good Spider-Man. I think, give or take, he's the best combination of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. In character-wise, I have a lot of story points. For example, every movie that Mary Jane needs to be saved, I'm kind of bored with that. And Mary Jane can save herself quite easily, I think, if she's in pickle. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I love those three interpretations, but I have my gripes with each of them three.
Yeah, same here.
But the same with the comic book movies. I love the David Michelin, I don't butcher his name, I hope, Spider-Man. I didn't like the Dan Slott Spider-Man. It depends on the creators. Mm-hmm. In terms of costumes wise, because that's what the main point we also do this talk. I was looking for the Iron Spider-Man, and then they made up a completely different costume. Yeah, it took me a while to get used to it. I would have loved to see him in a Civil War, a comic accurate costume, with his legs out. But I do like the design of the Marvel movies more than the Sony movies, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys know Bet in the Sun?
No.
Videos? They're really good at doing costumes, says Dave. I'll check it out. Let me see.
I love these YouTube movies.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man is basically Iron Man Jr.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. I thought that the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movies are cool movies, but I didn't think they were Spider-Man movies. It didn't feel like Spider-Man to me. It doesn't mean they're bad movies, but I don't think they are good adaptations of the character and of the source material.
I partly agree with that. I think the character is quite on par, is quite to the point, but they focus too much on Spider-Man. And if you read Spider-Man comics, it's not only about Spider-Man. It's more about his surrounding cast, his weird relationship with Harry Osborn, his girlfriends, his struggles in his life with all these people he wants to manage. He's like a juggler. He wants to juggle too many balls in the air, and he
With
drops
Jonah
some
Jameson.
balls here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a Spider-Man movie, but I don't think it would appeal to the broad audience. They want to have action and fast-pacing drama, and or movie. But I don't think they're really into for the drama. And saving your loved one 3 times in a row isn't drama, isn't character development. I wanted to see much more Mary Jane from this wonderful actress Kirsten Dunst. She's an amazing actress. They really underplayed her, and the same thing with Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Again, a girl that needs to be saved. Come on, this gets boring, and it has nothing to do with the Spider-Man character.
Yeah. What's wrong with girls getting saved, man? That's like the ultimate power fantasy.
There's nothing wrong with that if it's happens once or twice, but not 4 times in a row. I don't like a Star Wars movie when they blow up the Death Star every movie. You have one super weapon, and why is a super weapon so good? Because it's one super weapon. You don't have 50 super weapons. The full Force Awakens, again, a super planet killer, is like boring. It's place.
But it has Ray, Roland. It has Ray Palpatine, or is it Ray Skywalker? Oh.
Let me say hello to Islin. Welcome, Islin.
Islin. Yeah, I think Mary Jane is a very overlooked character in the movies.
Yeah, that says those are Dave's exact words also.
Yeah, I was repeating him.
Oh,
yeah, but I also really hate, and this probably some side topic, really hate the surrounding cast of Tom Holland's Spider-Man with, all the I forget the names.
That leads, Flash Thompson.
Exactly.
Yeah, they totally
at all.
Yeah, the Flash Thompson one, they totally didn't hit the nail on the head, if you say it like that. In the second movie, they kind of hinted that he doesn't have good footing with his parents, like also in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different. It's different now. In the 80s, you really had bullies like Flash Thompson.
Some high
beating
school,
up Spider-Man.
jockey.
But that doesn't happen nowadays anymore in the schools. Maybe in the US, I don't know. But if I just look at the high schools here in the Netherlands,
mm-hmm.
it's not. You won't get beat up because you have spectacles or glasses. When I was a kid, you got beat up because you have spectacles or red hair. You don't have that nowadays anymore.
You need a little bit of conflict, So,
but you need a conflict. So I think they could have made the Flash character interesting. The net leads, I am okay with the character, especially if this new movie he will be more buffed. He'll be more muscled and you lose some fat. I think there's a progression in the character as well, and maybe hopefully he will get into this hobgoblin thing. But that's the nice thing about movies. You have one movie, and I like that they will keep some room for development and not have everything immediately set out like you're used to after reading 30 years of comics or 40 years.
Yeah, that's a problem often with these movies. They can adapt like 10 years of movie material in one movie. Or comic book material, and then you speed through 60 years of canon within 5 years, So Islin says, "What's wrong with saving the girl and other repetitions? It's an 8-year-old fantasy. Please give us something more complex. We do not want calculus level difficulty." Okay. The anti-bully persons are the bullies now sometimes, and that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I can't see Ned becoming a villain.
Yeah.
He's too much of a comic relief character.
Yeah, and that's the whole problem with the whole Holland series. It doesn't fit the character at all. They just gave them the name, but it's a completely different character.
That is true, but they didn't flesh him out in the comics that much. He was really.
Who is Ned? Is that the
Hobgoblin? He was the wife of
Betty leads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally forgot, man. It's.
But
Yeah.
you know, this dynamic between Peter and Betty Leeds is amazing. Or Betty Brand.
Yeah, Betty Brand. Yeah.
Betty Brand. How come Betty? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Is really nice during the course of the comics. And,
yeah, I love the whole comic cast, with Glory Grant and with
Glory Grant,
all the characters in the Daily Bugle, etc. And then his friends, and of course with Mary Jane and with Harry, etc. I really love that. And now in the comics, it's completely gone. I don't know who all these characters. Spider-Man is supposed to be now friends with Boomerang, and Boomerang is now comic relief. I don't know, man.
Well, that's the comics. Let's stay on the topic of the movies differences.
It's so easy to
because that raises for me an interesting question. Why does some changes in the movies we accept, like the X-Men leather jackets? At first, we kind of accepted it in the first movies, and we kind of accept the Marvel Universe take on the costumes. Mostly, I know, of course, people won't accept them. This is fine. Each have their own opinion. But there is a consensus when a costume isn't well designed. Mostly in the DC universe as well. How come that some changes in movies work and some doesn't? And if you are too accurate to a comic book movie, like The Watchmen, I love the movie and I love the costume designs as well, but people were blaming that movie that it was too accurate. So what can you do?
Yeah, I don't get it. I really love Watchmen. It was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But that's my question.
I don't think that. Look, people got that first X-Men movie. It was the first ever.
They were just excited.
We all loved that, man. And I rather had the characters be in costumes I recognized from the comics, but we got this, and that was okay. But if we could choose, then rather something else.
I believe...
but what we got worked, so it was cool,
Yeah,
Sorry, I think that they did it just because they wanted to play it safe more. Having a full fleshed out superhero team for the first time on screen, right? And they needed to make it work, and probably just be guessing that if they will go with the full bright costumes, that maybe people will be put off on that. I think so. They played it safe. Black costumes was a trend like then. With Matrix and all the other similar.
Blade was just before.
Blade, exactly. Ghost Rider, etc. I think that there was more of a trend, and they played it safe. That's my opinion. I'm not entirely sure. That's what I think. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Ryu says about villains, I like Loki in the first Avengers movie, but after that, he became a tame character.
I agree.
Yeah,
I so hope for the new series he will go back to his roots and be this manipulative, sneaky, knifey character again. The Loki we know.
I think I got bad news for you, Roland. Marvel officially declared today that Loki was mind controlled in the first movies. So they are retconning Loki now. So I don't know, man.
Which makes no sense at all. I mean, he's the god of mischief. And lies. I mean,
but that's the thing we talked about at the earlier show. Why do you make the villain the hero of the story?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the character was popular and
when he was a villain
to bring him back. Yeah, when he was a villain, exactly. But they don't get that. You need cool villains. They don't get that, man.
Hey, exactly. So they made him now also some kind of a comic relief, like in every Marvel movie. And although he just do stuff, but he's mostly. I liked him in the second Thor movie. He was more, I don't know, he was fighting, with knives, etc. He's more conniving than, also has some humor in it, but more like, he was more Loki.
And you never know on which side he was.
Exactly. He was, from here and there. Exactly. I just like that. But now they made him, there's going to be a TV series, by the way, for Loki. and he's going to be exactly like in the new comic series that he is, terrible. But hey, that's me.
I, for one, I'm giving this series a chance.
Good for you. I'm gonna watch it too, but with the I don't know, man. I just make him a bad guy because in the comics he was years back in the 90s and before that he was a badass villain.
Yeah,
really
he was a threat.
Yeah. He was pure evil.
That's why the Avengers were formed, right? Because he was such a big threat.
Yeah.
But the Loki actor was pretty good. Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah, absolutely. He plays him well. Yeah, and now they're gonna pacify him, but that's
yeah. Okay, so are there examples of things in movies that you think they did that perfectly, the adaptation?
Well, for me, it's the Superman one. They did it perfectly. I wish
the dollar movie Superman,
the first one,
the very first one. Yeah, I only wish the cape was a little bit longer. I think the cape is a little bit too short, but overall, I think they did a perfect job. It was everything that I wanted from that costume because it was comic accurate. It was perfect one-on-one, except for the cape, but mostly one-on-one. It was perfect. Shazam. I like Shazam's costume. I remember,
but not only the costume, but the entire atmosphere and the tone of the comic book.
Yeah, it was Superman one because it was Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent was perfect. He nailed that character, with the hanging shoulder and with the glasses and with the very pure tone. And then we came Superman. His chest pops up and he pulls it off, and his hair changing. He was more confident. And then the bright blue and the bright red of the costume. For me, it was perfect.
If you see Henry Cavill, I really like Henry Cavill. He's very cool. But as Clark Kent, you think, oh my God, that guy can beat me up,
Yeah.
He's
way too buff. He's way too buff.
But they made comments like this. At least John Byrne also wrote this in his comics at the time, that Clark Kent was a big guy, and they were always commenting, "Oh, you're a pretty big guy."
Yeah, true. And in Superman and Lois, it's probably the other way around. I mean, that person, I don't know the actor's name, but he plays Clark Kent very good. But as a Superman character, he's a little bit too, how do you say, small? He's probably just
too scrawny.
Yeah, well, that irks me in the Justice League as well. They casted Ben Affleck as Batman. That's a tall guy, and even Henry Cavill is a big guy. But even
compared to Superman,
he was big. Yeah, he was smaller, and I think Superman should be taller than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
but just give him a little box. They always put actors on boxes.
Maybe a small one, but
just but I know what you.
Yeah, but to be honest, I love the Ben Affleck's costume as Batman with all the fibers and the gray and then the big.
Now you like the fibers. Now you like the padding
that's
and
a different kind of fibers. That's different. It doesn't count.
Now you do like the man in spandex.
I don't know. That costume was perfect. It was, I believe, from year one with Frank Miller costume. The Frank Miller year one costume. He was a big gray old man, very buff. Maybe I should put an. Maybe can you, Roland? Can you put an example of the costume?
Oh yeah. But you have to talk about that. Which costume was it?
Year one, Frank Miller.
Yeah.
It was more, grizzled old man-ish Batman, very buff, very muscled. Probably don't has a armored version, just pure spandex. It pops out of his veins mostly, and then it was pretty comic accurate when it's also on screen. Although I'm not sure if that was intentional that they do year one Frank Miller costume. Maybe it is, but it looks too similar. So I believe that was a deliberate
Are you sure it's year one, or is it Batman Returns?
Well, that's a good question. Can you put it on screen?
Oh yeah, sure.
But the bulkiness of a specific character can also have to do with the style, with the art style, with the artist.
Yeah.
Not every artist draws the same character the same way. So I'm not sure if Batman was intended to be bigger than usual there.
Mhm.
I really didn't like the buff style of Batman, to be honest. But I don't know. He was kind of buff in the video games as well, Gotham Knight, I believe, and I liked him there. But
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't. I thought, yeah, no.
Okay,
But I
James.
have a probably different. Probably you mean this one.
You found it?
Yeah, maybe this one. This is Batman Return, you know.
Yeah, that's what I meant in it. I'm not sure why I just said year one, but yeah, this exactly. So he's way more buff.
Mm.
This is the Frank Miller, exactly. And when you compare it to the Ben Affleck costume, it's pretty spot on, except for
Yeah,
a few.
it's a bit like that. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so a bit back on topic. What I don't get is why someone decides to make a movie based on comics, a movie that costs a shitload of money, and they decide I want to make it different. I want to give it my own angle, make it different, and so you drift away from the source material and you get a movie like Fan Four Stick, Fantastic Four from a few years ago.
God.
That was awful. It was awful. And
well, of course, directors are artists. Look at Ryan Johnson. They want to put their stamp on something. Some artists, some directors are too much artists, and they're not. You don't want them to have control of an IP because they want to have much of their own stuff in there. And then, of course, with the Fantastic Four movie, the latest one, there was a lot of studio mingling as well. And if you have producers going to make your movie, it will never end well.
No, definitely. But what I know of the entire production process is that the intention was to make it completely different anyway.
Yeah, well, there was the same with the New Mutants. I see it's now available on Disney Plus. I want to see it because I like the take of the New Mutants. I love the comic book series, but I was very curious how would this be looked at as a horror movie. I was really looking forward to see the New Mutants with their powers in a horror movie.
Yeah,
setting.
That's pretty original.
Yeah, I really, and of course it could blow up in your face, but I think the studio got scared and they pedaled down a bit the tone, and then you would have like a weird mixture of intent of a movie and what the director wanted and what the studio wants.
Yeah.
Still, I haven't watched the movie, so I can't really comment about that. But I did see Wonder Woman, the first one, and you really saw a clear difference in the first half of the movie and the second half. And also with the Fantastic Four, I think Edgar Wright, was this director name? He really had a vision for the movie, but the studio got involved. And
with the Fan Four Stick movie, you mean?
I really think it could have been a good movie.
No. Even when the producers didn't interfere, it would have been completely different from the store's material.
Yeah, it will be different. But like I said, the New Mutants movie would be very different than the
Yeah,
comic
but
original.
yeah, I don't see the point. You have something that's popular, so you want to make a movie adaptation, and you make something completely different. I don't get that.
Well,
Then make your own thing.
well, we already had to really pretty accurate. Well, depends. Fantastic Four movies. They were not good, but Fantastic Four is hard to sell for a main audience. So we already had that. So let's try something else. I kind of
no.
understand it. Not that I approve the movie because I thought it was a fucked movie. But
no, you can break things. You can break things.
Yeah.
You have something that has specific building blocks, and you take that and you remove all these blocks. You put in new shit. You have a completely new product, and you put on the same label, and you pretend that's the same thing. It's not. It's a completely different thing. So stay away from it. Make something else.
Okay, I got a question for Roland, and I'm agree with you, Dave. What do you think of Black Superman that they are going to make?
We discussed this before. I think Superman is so iconic. If you want to make a Black Superman, make it in its own character. For me, actually, the race or the color of your skin doesn't really matter. But you also Mickey Mouse, you don't turn different colors suddenly. You are used for more than 6 years a certain look of a character, and you are used to it. It has nothing to do with race. And in the 60s and in America, you had just more white people there. There was the most people were white, and you cater to those the biggest audience. And I wouldn't defend why they make the choices, but I think the creators were Jewish, and they were just looking in their own surroundings. It's normal. And nowadays, I don't see the need to change it. Why to change it just because you think it's racist or not? Because I don't think if somebody's white, it's racist immediately. I think the white people are still a minority in the whole world looking. But I don't see the need. If you really came to me with a very good reason why, yeah, I would accept it, but I can't really see the need. For me, he's tall, he's muscular, he has a broad jawline, he has black hair, he has always his S in his front hair. Like I said, even if you make him blonde, it's not Superman.
No.
Even the slightest change is not Superman. So yeah, like with the Fantastic Four movie, for example, they had the Invisible Woman and they had her brother, Johnny Storm, and they had a black casting. I think he's a great actor. So I didn't have anything about the actor, but I didn't get the family thing. I think you make it even more racist if she comes from a white family and they adopt a black kid and adopt him in their family, and then they are stepbrother, stepsister.
Yeah, it is so convoluted.
So why don't make the Invisible Woman black as well? Then you at least have more equal divided family issue as well, or a session within the Fantastic Four. So I didn't get it. Why just one black guy? Why not make Invisible Woman black as well? If black is important, and I think I hope they just hired the actor because he's a very good actor. But then they should have hired a better actor for Invisible Woman, because I think Jessica Alba was a way better Invisible Woman than the actor in the Fantastic Four stick movie, whatever.
Yeah,
Josh
Trank or something is the director.
Yeah, Josh Trank. Yeah, I think Doctor Doom. They really fucked him up again. Come on, learn from your mistakes from the previous movie, because he was a fucked up character there again. And then learn, and they don't never learn.
Well,
no,
that's gonna be.
I think yeah. Hicks villain says the Superman movie is just straight up pandering. It's not like DC has no black heroes. Yeah, it's just they want you to talk about it. That's all it is. It's just marketing, trying to get eyes on on something. It has nothing to do with pen. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool. So awesome, guys. So, Roland, I had one last question for you. I see you have Perfect 10 issue 2 behind you, and that book is not printed yet. So how did you manage?
I printed myself. No, it's a fake. It's just a placeholder.
All right. Cool.
Smart, man. Yeah.
I'm eagerly awaiting for issue 2 to receive in my mailbox, the physical copy. I received the digital copy.
Yeah, me too.
And I have to say, it's better than issue 1. Really, I really liked.
I'm gonna read it. I just wanted to have the printed
I'm
version.
I'm not chilling Dave, even though he's my friend. He know I can be quite critical, also
definitely.
quite honest at his work. And I just so far only praise. I called you before. I explained where I was thinking. Oh, this is great story writing, great art. I love the comic. It's really good.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you, man.
Yeah,
it's out now digitally to all the backers, so everyone has it. So I'm receiving some feedback. So far, all good. So it's always a bit exciting to get this new book out, and you don't know how people will receive it. But so far, people seem pleased. So really good with that. And I got 2 new backers too, because the campaign is still active right now while I'm fulfilling. So I still need to print the books and send them out. And until that's done, people can still place new orders. So get on this.
Order it, guys.
On Indiegogo, Perfect 10.
Perfect 10 issue 2. And if you just ordered the digital copy already, if you think the physical copy is way too expensive for shipping costs, it's worth it. Just order it. It's pretty cheap for the digital version already, and it's more than worth it. I really don't get why Dave still has a job offer at a good movie studio series, whatever. I don't know.
They can't afford me.
These movies, have these script
Ooh, Mr. Higher in the Tower.
But really, these movies have these teams. Like series have teams of writers, and they have in movies they have these script writers, but they have these ghost writers. There are teams, dozens of people writing this one script. Don't ever say it's one guy writing a script, but Dave writes this whole by himself.
Yeah, Dave, you need to make it black. That's a guaranteed, man. You need to make it black and trans.
We have Virgil. I love Virgil, man. Virgil is such a cool character.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot for another cool episode.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking with you guys about stuff we like. So that's really cool. I want to thank everyone in the chat for your comments and please like and subscribe and all that. And also, if you still want to buy Perfect 10, the link to the campaign is in the description of this video. And if you order a digital package, I will send it to you immediately. So within 5 minutes.
And for the next show, if you have an idea for a topic, or if you want us to continue on this topic, because we have a lot of more things to say about comic book movies and series we like or we don't like. You already see we have different opinions here, which is fine, and you can explore different opinions. Please mention it in the comments or mail us, and we'll get on it, because we like talking with comics about comics with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So you can find me on Twitter, Jamin Comics, or on Facebook, Jamin Comics, and on Instagram, and Marinus.
Yeah, me too. On Twitter, Darkside is Comics. On YouTube, Darkside is Comics, and on Twitter. Yeah, no. Well, I said already say Twitter. Sorry. What's the other one? I forgot.
Instagram,
Instagram,
Twitter,
yeah.
Darksiders Comics as well. I
TikTok,
believe-
Marines.
And you have your own video channel where you do comic book reviews. So that's pretty
Exactly.
cool.
I do comic book reviews, and unboxings, and also streams. Not a lot lately, but reviews I still do, and some hero occasionally streams. But yeah, you can find me there.
Do you still do impressions?
Should I make one? You can try.
No, really. Google Darkside. It's written with I. So yeah, it's great content.
All right. Okay, cool. Well, thanks, everyone. See you. I'll be here tomorrow for a drink with Brink, and I'll be talking with Brian Menard from Dojo-kun Comics.
Nice.
What time? What
About
time,
his
Dave?
comic Siamese. So see you tomorrow or next week. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, till next
Bye-bye.
time. Bye.